Okay, we'll get this started this morning. Good morning to Prepping the Objective. This is, gosh, it's already the end of November. I can't believe we already ran past Thanksgiving. Wow, things move by really fast. And so what I want to do, like we do every single week, is we start off with a couple of things. Our regimen, ritual, and our routine is the key thing that allows us at this event to understand how to overcome any obstacle, any challenge, anything that we feel that's too big for us to take out or be able to accomplish or overrun or complete. And it is the continued regimen ritual that you start off with every single day, every single week, every single event. So one of the things we focus on here is everyone wants to turn themselves off of mute is we'll go kind of around the room. We focus on a concept called the happiness advantage, and the happiness advantage was put together by some Harvard researcher by the name of Sean Acor. He's written a second book now. I mentioned that last week on the call. It was the concept of going together. And there's a lot of research now that he's been able to identify that when you go together as a group, in other words, when you have collaboration, then whatever challenge that you thought that you had, whatever mountain that you thought you were climbing, it becomes 20% less difficult to you in your mind. So because everything we do in life is always about the mental game, it's always about how you think about it, how you think about your thinking. So if you're looking for performance boost, which is what we are here at Rubicon, Rubicon is always about personal performance. It's what I've studied over 30-something years of everything from psychology to philosophy, personal performance, doing the impossible, going through difficulties that we don't think we can manage through, and yet we figure out how to make it through the other side, and the value of making it through the desert experiences, of doing the kind of things like Captain Shackleton did with the endurance adventure, is when you finish those near impossible events, then what happens is you can come back and share that true real life experience. It's no longer theory, it's no longer book knowledge. Those are good and great, and there's a lot of professors at great universities that give you that level of book knowledge. But all of us know, if you've been through those levels of training, that when you get out in the real world, how true is that training to what happens in the real world? It's usually it's usually a miss. It's not total miss, but it doesn't actually do what happens. So when you get out in the real world, you have to actually figure out what the heck is going on and how to apply what you did learn, and everything else then you have to make up on the fly. So the value of your experience, of your story, many of you are authors, many of you are in business, many of you have families, and all of those things that you have done, it is your experience in doing those things, of overcoming those obstacles, that is become your expertise. And so a lot of people talk to me, because I encourage a lot of people to start their YouTube channel or to start doing a podcast. And they're like, yeah, but I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if anybody wants to listen to me. I don't know if I'm that expert yet. And my answer to you is, yes, you are an expert. Not because you have a PhD and you can teach someone something philosophically or psychologically out of a book. It's because you have this thing called life, and your life experience, the challenges that you did not think you could overcome, whether that be physical, mental, business-wise, family-wise. But when you figured out how to face the struggle head on and go into it, and what you learned as you got knocked down, beat up, bloodied, fell back down the hill, but you, for some reason, are different, because when everybody else starts going up the hill of their performance in life, that thing that they want to achieve, the thing that they think they can knock it out easy, and then it gets difficult, they get knocked back down into the valley, they just acquiesce, they give up, they settle, and then they just walk away and go, yeah, okay, I tried, and I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to talk about it, because if anybody else finds out I failed, what will they do? What will they say? Oh my God, they might not like me on Facebook anymore. They might not, look at me the same way when I see them at some networking event. And here's the key thing in life. If those kind of people are individuals that we can't allow to dissuade us, to change us from our focus, because those individuals are not the individuals that matter. It is the focus of the one individual that you continue to do your discipline, your regimen, your ritual. And is that one individual, whether it's on social media or someone that you bump into out in the world, and when they come up to you and say, you made a difference in my life. I walked into the gym one day, and one of the trainers that I used to work out at the gym, there was a couple of guys there, and we had a great time because I'd walk in. I'd always do a devil dog bark. If you don't know what a devil dog bark is, I'm not going to do one right now because it would scare the bejesus out of everybody on the Zoom here. But it's a bark, okay? And I learned it from my father. It's a Marine thing. And I walk into the gym and I give this really deep bark, and everybody turns around and looks at me like, who let the dogs in here? And there you go. Thank you, Jack. Good morning. So when we did that, though, I had a lot of great times with the other trainers there because I trained myself. But as they were training their clients, as I saw them in the gym and I saw them flagging, maybe they had 2 or 3 clients, and one of them was doing burpees over here, and the other one was supposed to be doing bear crawls or spiders or kettles. And I would be in their area. I would motivate them. I'd give them, a little bit of props because they see me doing crazy stuff over there on a pull-up bar and doing stuff that really hurts. And one day, one of the trainers came up to me. He said, "Man, I've been following you on your social media, and you were out, and it was 30 degrees, and you were out in the rain doing pull-ups on the bar on your college campus." And he said, "I had my son that I was trying to get motivated to work harder at his sports." And he said, "What happened is he wouldn't listen to me. And what happened is," he said, "I showed him the video that you had posted, and the rain's coming down out there, and you can see your breath coming out of your mouth because it's so cold. And I said, check this guy out." And so what happened is he said, "You made a difference in the life of my son." And I'm looking at this guy going, man, this guy is in super shape. He's an awesome trainer. But for whatever reason, his son didn't want to listen to him. And that happens. How many of that happens with all of us? Our kids don't want to listen to us, okay? Because they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I see you, Blair. That's my daughter right there. If you don't know, she's on her Peloton, probably listening to this glitter chick that drives her to do crazy stuff. But so, yeah, my daughter doesn't want to listen to me. So yeah, I can see that. My point is our audience. We are always talking about our audience and sharing your authority, whether you've been an author or you have any level of experience. The audience that you think should be listening to you may not be listening to you. And there's no reason to get upset or mad at them or think bad things about them or be hurt about that. No, it's just that's not your audience. Your audience can be that one young man that I've never met that because I consistently posted and shared my crazy things of climbing up the side of a mountain with a 50-pound sand sack on my back or out doing pull-ups in the rain at 30 degrees, that gave someone else the opportunity to say, hey, check out this person. They have a message. Because you're not listening to me, maybe this might motivate you. And it did. It inspired him and it changed his world. It was how he learned to see his world differently. So that's my recommendation, my motivation to you. So now that we've got everyone online, I want to do one of the things we always start off with here, not just doing this together as a collaborative group. And I thank each one of you for being here. I want to make this time together valuable to you. I want to increase your performance. And so every week we bring something to you on Monday. My Monday is my earliest day of the week. So wherever you're at in the world, whatever time zone you're on, I want to bring this time to you, whether it's live or on replay, so that you get an idea of what can you add, just a little tweak to whatever you're doing right now, whatever ritual, regimen, or routine that you're doing right now, you can add just a little bit to it and get better performance, okay? So one of the things we do, I mentioned Sean Acor from his newest book, we talked about it last week, is when we do it together, then our obstacles are 20% less in our mind than we think they are. So do you think if you had something difficult to do and you found out it was 20% easier, would you be more inclined to get it done? Yes, of course you would, okay? Does that increase your performance? Yes, it does. So the value that we have as a coming together as a group, collaborating, is that we can perform together better than we can by ourselves. That's why something like this is really valuable. We get to hang out together. And I encourage you to create your own groups, to find your audience and to share with them the thing that comes from you in your language, with your vernacular, with your perspective. And that is not mine, and yours is not mine, and vice versa. So all of us need to be sharing and using this incredible venom. And this whole COVID thing, we're now going back through other, what is this, level number 4 lockdown. We got full countries now with borders being popped up again with Omicron and all this other kind of stuff. So the key thing for us to be able to come together cohesively as a unit of humans that are refusing to let this virus or anything else, the pending economic doom that I truly believe, not as a doomsdayer, I think it's coming because of the COVID thing and the economic manipulations that have happened. These things are coming. If we are not prepping, planning, and preparing to perform now, okay, how are we going to be prepared, planned, and prepped when the tsunami happens, okay? So us being able to lock arms together here and to share our thoughts and our fears and have a safe haven to come to, that's what you're building your audience is about. It's about being able to build the brand that you want to be. Your brand is this concept of the better version of you and being willing and courageous enough to share the messiness of the failings and the mishaps and the stumblings that you have along the way. Because what does that make you? It makes you real. It makes you unique, because everybody on social media is airbrushed. True? For the most part, it's airbrushed. And when you're airbrushed, people look at that and they go, oh, okay, you know, it's not real. It's not authentic. It's not genuine. And that's what people are striving for. When you see Gary Vee, if any of you are fans of Gary Vee, you know, wherever he presses, wherever he's at, he gets the thought, he hits the record button, and boom, he's live. Okay. I love that about him. I don't like, you know, his language all the time. That's just him. But what I do like about him is his spontaneous desire to be able to change and share his thoughts and make a difference in this world. He's got a huge following. How many people's lives has he changed? Now that he's a celebrity and a public figure, he's constantly pressing the live button. And what is he recording? He's recording when he's walking down the street and someone sees him and says, hey, Gary Vee, hey, I got this question. Do you have a second to answer the question about my business or what I'm thinking about my life right now? And Gary presses the record button right there and he's live and he's giving someone advice because he's blown up his brand so that people now recognize him on the street when he's walking through a stadium. And he takes those live events, those one-on-ones where someone's asking him, Gary, give me some advice. And he gives them that advice, but it's real and it's in the moment. And it's his perspective. That's something that you can do. That's what this social media is so cool about. That's what you have to do, though, is you have to consistently be you, and you have to be here, you have to post, and you have to be courageous enough to share your version, not trying to be someone else's version, okay? This is not trying to duplicate Tony Robbins. I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not Oprah Winfrey. And those are two people that are great heroes in my mind. They've done amazing things. What I do is I take different pieces of individuals, whether it's Nelson Mandela or Machiavelli or, you know, I'm just thinking of philosophers off the top of my head, Marcus Aurelius, the greatest Roman emperor. And I'm always reading and picking up these little pieces from Epictetus or Socrates and things like that. And that's my version. It's too philosophical for most. That's okay. That means it's not my audience. If I try to make my delivery the same thing as a Tony Robbins, then I'm not Steve. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Be you, be your version, and press the record button and build your audience, because your audience will be attracted to you because of your authenticity and because of your message. And if you haven't found your audience yet, guess what you have to keep doing? You have to keep posting. You have to keep going live. How many live versions did Gary Vee do? Does anybody know this? When he first started out his Wine Library TV, when no one knew him, and he gave his dad the crazy idea that he was going to start promoting their wine store, and had been a physical wine store. He wanted to build it online. He did 1,375 video posts, 5 to 10 minutes, talking about wine, talking about how wines work with something, and ranting about the Jets. Because he, you know, if you know Gary Vee, his biggest goal is he wants to own the Jets one day. You know, he came here as an immigrant from Belarus into the United States with his father and his family. And his father worked 20 hours a day and created a great business. And then Gary goes to college, comes back and says, I don't want to do the business, Dad. I want to do this new online thing. Okay. His dad thought he was nuts, but now he's built a great media company. And when he started, though, he started with 1,375 what? Successes? No, he had no audience. No one showed up. He posted it on YouTube and MySpace back then, because this was 2010, 2012, right around in that time. So he kept doing it, and then momentum finally kicked in, and it started creating an audience, and that audience started getting attracted, and they realized that he was doing what? He was delivering value. They loved the rant. He showed up with a Jets jersey or a Jets helmet sitting on the desk. And he talks about why the guy out in the flats missed the button hook pass and blah, blah, blah. But that's his intensity. And then he said, oh, by the way, I've got this really great Syrah or a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Franc or whatever. And here's this great little vineyard over here in Napa Valley. And they've only got us so many cases, but I've got these bottles. And if you want those, it's going to go great with X, Y, and Z. So he started building his brand, and his brand blew up, and it ended up being a $10 million business within a couple of years right after it. But he had to go through 1,375 failings, not failure, because failure is only failure when you refuse to get back up. He got knocked down 1,375 times, 1,375 times, okay? We all know Edison's stories. How many times did he try to invent the incandescent bulb, okay? If I remember right, it was 999 failures. And then finally, the 1,000th one supposedly was, boom, the incandescent light bulb changed our world, okay? So one of the things we can focus on here is doing things together. That's the collaboration. The other thing that we focus on that boosts our performance by 31% is every time we get together as a group, your group, our group, whatever, we all need to take ourselves off mute, and we all share one thing that we are grateful for. And so that's what we're going to do next. Okay. So everybody, if you're able to, pop yourself off mute and just jump in here. I'll start off with what I'm grateful for. I had an amazing holiday. I had my daughter and grandson here for over 2 weeks. We did some amazing events together. Some of you were on the live calls and got a chance to share that with us. But we went out in a place here in Oregon, in different places, and got up into the mountains and saw rivers and lakes and spent time together and made incredible memories and took pictures and posted them all over the world. That was cool. Okay. So I just am so grateful for that. It was an amazing holiday, and I'm grateful that I got a chance to share all of that with all of you. So anyone else, pop yourself off mute and tell us what you're grateful for this morning.
Okay, this is Lady C. How's everybody doing? I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I do apologize. I do not want to show the video right now, show myself right now.
Okay. Okay.
I am grateful because I am learning how to shift my paradigm so that I can create the life that I've always known I deserve. Thank you.
Outstanding. Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else? Jump in here, turn yourself off mute, and jump in here and tell us what you're grateful for.
Okay, so hey, long time no see, Steve. How you doing?
Alan.
Good morning. So back in April, what I'm thankful for is that my wife has really good health, and she has fully recovered, because back around April she got the Moderna shot, and 3 weeks later I took her to ER and then admitted her to ICU for 4 days because she had massive blood clots in her lungs. Mm-hmm. She had, and before this, she was running the treadmill just about every morning and doing great. Sure. But she has thankfully made a full recovery. It was way too close, permanent damage. And she finally got off of her lower dose of blood thinners just the other day. So she is now blood thinner free and returned to excellent health. Awesome. I'm thankful for a lot of things. And, when I pray to God, usually the thing I'm doing is I'm giving thanks, because I can get the blessings, and
Absolutely.
to be able to appreciate that. So that's the main thing I'm thankful for right now that I wanted to share this morning.
Absolutely. Awesome, Alan. I'm glad to hear that. Glad she's making that good recovery. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Anyone else? Jump in here and tell us what you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for the time change.
Okay. And what is that doing? What is that doing for you, Blair?
He slept until 4:30 this morning.
Oh, okay, because it's your time change there. That's awesome. Yeah, so my grandson is, I think he can survive on like an hour, 2 hours a night or something like that. And of course that falls back into his mother. So anyway, that's awesome. That's Doreen, you wanted to jump in here.
I'm grateful to be interviewed on my first on a podcast with a group of other women who were in a book collaboration. So that's going to be going out, and I'm excited to be a published author worldwide, best-selling author worldwide in many, many categories with a bunch of other women around the world.
Isn't that great? I've seen a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that's a different book than the co-author book with Success Policy. Tell us about that real quick.
So this is a group. So it was a woman who wanted to publish a bunch of stories from women only,
Right.
Who had either health issues or emotional issues or trauma, and how we recovered from it. And 21 women from 7 countries around the world. And we hit bestseller in like 12 categories around the world. So it was amazing.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I'm a published worldwide best-selling author. Like, wow.
I know.
And so are the other women. No, I mean, it's not just me, but you know, I'm grateful for what I am, but I'm grateful for all the other women who helped. And so the publisher, the woman who did it, is only 4 hours away from me. So when I drive to my hometown, I get to go and meet her for the first time in person.
Isn't that awesome? And when you make those, climbs and you get to that summit, and when you say your name and you go best-selling author, and then you look around and you go, who am I talking about? No, that's you, And so it's really, it's amazing. It's probably one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life when you get to that ribbon and you go through it, okay, and you actually touch it, and you're like, I got the championship flag, and you can wave it around. Not that, look at me, I'm better than them. That's not where we're going. That's arrogance, okay? Right. But the fact that every time we make a achievement in our life, what that does for us individually is it gives us rank, okay? I'm going to use military jargon, but rank is a recognition of training and experience. And what that means is when you step into someone else's life and you notice that they have a challenge or a problem, and your mind goes off and says, I know I can help this person. You're not bringing theory. You're not bringing what might help them. What you're bringing is experience that worked in your life. And what you're sharing with them is something that is battle tested. It's proven, even if it's only your case. So when you share that with them, you're doing the ultimate expression of love from a human standpoint. And you're giving that to another human being with zero intent of, you don't need anything in return. And the intent is simply you're paying something forward. Here's what I learned. Here's the tragedies I went through. I messed up. I fell down several times. I got beat up because I went the wrong way many times, but here I finally found the right way out of the maze, and here you go. So I'm applauding you, Doreen, because I know that feeling and the lives that you're going to change and impact is a cascading effect. It's a ripple effect because you have made your contribution into the, what do you want to call it? The lake of life, the sea of life. And that ripple effect now is going to go out and touch other people. And you may hear about them and you may not, but as you know, you've heard from many of the other authors in Authors Only that they do get a chance to hear. So I'm gonna put Lillian on the point on, because I see you here. Hi, Lillian. I haven't had a chance to catch up with you lately. But when I thought about the impact, when you first were doing your book launch, you had a man that came into your book launch there at the Square Club that, if I remember right, was about to commit suicide. And he read your book. Can you jump in here and tell us about that real quick?
Hi, Steve. Lovely to see everybody. And it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a great journey. And I think I found my niche because I believe I'm here to encourage people with my story. And when I launched my book it's last year in January, some man came who was not even going to make it, but last minute he decided he will come. And the reason why he came is that he had read my chapter and he says, thank you for writing this because you have really saved my life. I was about to commit suicide. Wow. And I thought, what? It took me aback because I didn't expect to hear something like that. There was so much excitement. I had over 60 people in the room. It was before COVID. So it was a live event, really having fun. But that really got me thinking because I realized that our stories mean a lot. Yeah. I realized that our stories are not meant for ourselves. It's meant for somebody out there. Whether you're going to change a life, or 1,000,000 lives, it doesn't make a difference. The fact that God has sent you out there to do something, I think it's all about obedience. Go and do it. It's not about you anymore. It's about the world around you. So thank you so much for building my confidence, because now I believe I found my niche. I wake up wanting to encourage somebody every single day.
Right.
And the feedback that I get really gives me, goosebumps, because, you don't realize the little things you say are making millions of differences in people's lives. So
Sure.
yes, we thank you, Steve, for holding our hands and pointing us in the right direction. We really are grateful. Thank you.
Awesome. Good to see you too, Lillian. And I always love that story. And what was amazing about it, that was her launch party of her book. And in the middle of everyone there in the room live, this gentleman walks in and tells her this amazing story right in the front of everyone. And I think that's what caused the other lady that happened to be there at the event invited you to be on her radio show. The radio show became a series. And so now there's an event. I think you're going to be on BBC. They're going to make a documentary.
Yeah, I was on BBC. I was interviewed on BBC. Sure. The guy read my book and he said, okay, we want to interview you. And this is local BBC in Bristol. And really, it just makes such a difference. Sure. When you know that you are not just living, but you are making a difference. Because a purposeful life makes such, I think for me, it's very fulfilling. You don't wake up and you're just wondering what is going to happen next, but you know definitely that something is happening and you are changing a life every day. Whether it's one life or two lives, it doesn't matter. And I've begun to appreciate that it's not the numbers. It's about being in your rightful space.
Yeah.
And every day I wake up excited because I know I'm on a mission and that mission has got to be accomplished. So again, I keep saying thank you, Steve, for helping us come out of our cocoons and be visible. Because really, I used to think I can't say anything. You disqualify yourself before you even start.
Sure.
But I think just having that courage and confidence, not worrying about what other people say, because we tend to lose our dream because of what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
Yet everybody has got their own issue going on somewhere.
Yeah.
We need not to worry about them, but worry about ourselves and do what we need to do. So I'm really grateful. It's been an interesting journey, even through COVID.
Sure.
I found even messages on social media encouraged people, because people, when they are not in contact, they are looking for somebody to talk to.
Sure.
I'm still fighting to be able to talk on live platforms, but I'm very good at posting, posts.
Yes, you are.
But because now people like it, they still read it. I know a lot of people say you don't get traffic, but I still have people who read my posts who are waiting. There's one lady who says, how can you stay 2 days without posting? I'm always waiting to hear what you are saying. And I'm thinking, what?
See, that's the thing is we don't know the impact that we're making in other people's lives. So you can't decide to go on a great journey, which is to make our world better, and take 5 steps and decide to go back in the house. That's not going to change the world. And here's the deal. We have to be strong enough that just because we're not getting a like on our Facebook post, you don't know who's just seeing it in the feed. And what they're doing is you're creating your brand. Okay. And the brand, not to quote, sell something, a brand is what your message is to the world. Okay. So it's in the feed. And here's the deal. Many people need to see you on some type of consistency. Some people say 7, maybe 10 times, just so that they start recognizing you as someone familiar, that then they move to this thing from you're a stranger to you're someone that I trust. And they need to see that. And Lillian, I mean, your post, when I get a chance to jump in there and go through my feed, Facebook is always good enough to put it up in the top of my feed. So I try to go through as many as I can. And your posts are so thoughtful and inspiring. It's not something that you just grabbed out of thin air and tossed on there, because it has that personal connection. You're sharing your experience. That's the thing I keep coming back to. And, that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing that's going to attract. And again, if you only inspire that one person to do one thing, that they thought by themselves was too difficult. When we collaborate, that's what we started off today. When we collaborate as a group, then our perspective of our difficult climb is 20% easier, okay? That gives individuals that ability to go ahead and make the first and the 10th step and to fall down and know that, oh, well, if Lillian could get back up and Doreen could get back up and Arjan could get back up and Sabrina could get back up and Pamela could get back up and Raquel could get back up and Philip could get back up, okay, maybe I'm really probably blowing this out of my mind too much. And the answer is, that's where most people lose. It's not the physical world that's defeating them. It's they beat themselves in their mind already at the very beginning. And so when we inspire someone to just keep putting one more step forward, that next step could be the momentum step. It could be the step where you go from impacting 5 people to 50 or 50 to 500. You don't know where it is. It's called the hockey stick effect, okay? And we keep being consistent, planning, preparation, and practicing to perform. And then the foot of that hockey stick kicks up and you get this exponential return. We don't know when it's going to happen because none of our crystal balls work. I have one from Kmart from years ago. I keep trying to put a 9-volt battery in it and it doesn't work. So what you have to continue to do is stay on mission, like what you're talking about, Lillian. Your mission is not right now to be standing on a platform in front of 10,000 people yet. Your mission is, how do I help one more person get up one more time today? That's all you have to focus on. That's it. I've talked to mountain climbers that climbed Everest and other great, high events. And they tell you this, that if you focus on the peak, guess what will happen to your heart? You will be crushed by the event itself. You will give up. What they do is they get their bearing, they look at where they want to go, there's the mountaintop, and then they stare at their boots. That's a concept, stare at your boots. It is one step in front of the other. It's an occasional look up to make sure your bearings are right, to make sure you're headed toward the mountaintop, but you do not stare at the mountaintop because that hugeness of the event will crush your soul. So you get your bearing and then you stare at your boots. You're staring at your boots is your daily ritual regimen and your practice, your planning, your preparation, so that you're ready to perform when it matters most. When that person walks into a group meeting like Lillian and says, by the way, I read your book and you saved my life. Whoa, okay. That's what we do it for, okay? To be able to make that difference in that one person's life. And if you focus on your boots, making that consistent action every day, posting, sharing, being courageous, doing your routine, okay, to make yourself a better version so that you can share your journey of the struggle and the striving for a worthy cause. That's what Dr. Viktor Frankl calls it. And that is the definition of meaningfulness, life full of meaning. Does everybody get that? Good. Awesome. I'm glad that everyone's here. We're actually a little bit over time. I promise you I'll keep these to 30 minutes every week. I love that got to connect with friends and author family members that been on different time zones or different things for a while. So thank you each for being here. We had some amazing times to hear everyone talk about their gratefulness. Do this and watch it change how your world works, okay? When you get to your next Zoom call, when you get to your next meeting, begin the meeting with everyone doing a, what are you grateful for? And the routines, if you want to find out whether this really works, go check out the 10 plus years of experiential performance from Sean Achor, A-C-H-O-R. I believe he's got a PhD from Harvard. He's continued to do his research there at Harvard, and he's worked with, Fortune 1000 companies all over the world and small nonprofits, all the way in between. And the performance is there. It's about having the happiness advantage is about giving gratefulness. And then his newest book is about the collaboration of when we do things together, we go farther. Okay. So I'll see you guys here next week. By the way, I'm considering the idea of opening this up to more than just my Pathfinders and my author family members and people that I know. So if you think this is a good idea and you want to share this with your network or you want other people to be on here, if you like that idea, I really want your perspective. If you like the idea, then great. I'd love to be able to do that. If you want to keep it private, then I'll keep it private too if it's just us, because that's kind of the way we've always been doing it. But I want your perspective. So send me an email or put something in the chat. Let me know what's going on. And if you like the idea, I'll take your lead and we'll go from there. Okay. Love you, each one. Bye, Eli. I'll see you later, buddy. See y'all. Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.